If you're thinking about booking a cruise on MSC Poesia, and you want a genuinely honest review based on a 7-night Northern Europe sailing, this video is for you. I'll talk you through what the ship was actually like, and how MSC does things differently. I'll also review the itinerary, dining, entertainment, service, atmosphere on board, and whether this cruise offers real value for money, or if the criticisms of MSC are fair. I've cruised with Princess, P&O Cruises, Royal Caribbean, Marella and now MSC, and I've traveled to over 70 countries, so this review is based on experience across different cruise lines, not just one sailing. Before getting into the details, it's important to talk about expectations, because with MSC, what you expect going in makes a big difference to how you experience the cruise. MSC is a very different style of cruise line. It's European, very international, and it focuses on keeping prices low rather than offering a highly polished, personalized experience. This was the cheapest cruise I've ever taken, just over £500 for a 7-night Northern Europe cruise in an inside cabin, sailing solo. At that price point, it's exceptional value. Because of that, I went in with realistic expectations. MSC has a mixed reputation online, and a lot of the criticism comes from people expecting it to operate like Princess or Royal Caribbean. It doesn't. What surprised me, in a good way, is that MSC Poesia worked far better than I expected, once I stopped comparing it constantly and started judging it on its own terms. This cruise works best if you're itinerary-led, comfortable doing things independently, and happy with a more relaxed, international style of cruising. Embarkation and disembarkation are often where people form their first opinion of a cruise line, so it's worth explaining how MSC handles this, because it's quite different to a lot of other cruise lines. On this sailing, not everyone got on and off the ship at the same port. Some passengers embarked in Southampton, others in Hamburg, Rotterdam, and other ports along the way. MSC uses this rolling embarkation system a lot, especially in Europe. Because of that, embarkation doesn't happen in one big rush. It's more spread out, and it can feel slower at first if you're used to cruise lines where everyone boards in tight time slot. I expected embarkation to feel chaotic, especially having seen MSC in big Mediterranean ports like Civitavecchia, but it really wasn't. There was around an hour's wait before boarding, but it was calm, organized, and predictable. Disembarkation was similar, steady, structured, and low stress, with people leaving the ship at different ports rather than all at once. If you understand how MSC operates, and accept that it's different rather than worse, the whole process feels much smoother. Once you're on board, what really matters is how the ship feels to live on day to day, especially on a smaller, older ship like MSC Poesia, and I sailed just before her refit. She was definitely showing her age in places, and the refit was needed. That said, the layout works very well. Even on sea days, the ship never felt crowded. I could always find space in the bars, the lounges, and the theatre, and nothing felt overwhelmed. She's also very easy to navigate. You quickly learn where things are, and day-to-day life on board feels simple. There isn't a proper jogging track, but you can do a full loop around the deck if you want to walk. One thing I do hope the refit hasn't damaged is the balance of public space. Part of why Poesia worked so well was that shared areas felt generous for the size of the ship. Losing too much of that to the yacht club would be a shame. I've already done a full MSC Poesia dining options video, so I won't repeat menus or venues here. If you want a full breakdown of what's included and what costs extra, I'll put a link to that video in the description. What I will say is this: dining on MSC Poesia is fine. I always found something I wanted to eat. It's not at the level of Princess, and it doesn't have the consistency of Royal Caribbean, but it's broadly comparable to P&O. One important difference with MSC is how dining times work. On this sailing, dinner was at fixed times, either around 5:30 or around 8. As a solo traveler, I actually liked being on a fixed table, because you sit at the same table each night, and it's easy to get chatting to the people you're dining with. You are also very likely to be on a shared table, which some people enjoy and others don't. For me personally, neither dining time was ideal. I changed from the later sitting because I don't like eating that late, but the early sitting at around 5:30 often felt too early on port days. If you've been ashore most of the day, or you've stayed out later to make the most of a port and had a late lunch, sitting down for dinner at 5:30 can feel rushed. Entertainment is another area where MSC does things a little differently, so it's worth setting expectations before judging it against other cruise lines. However, entertainment on MSC Poesia surprised me. The shows were usually around 30 to 35 minutes long, mostly production shows, and they worked well. The guest act, Remixed, was excellent. Evenings on board felt relaxed rather than high energy. There was live music across the ship, quizzes, silent disco nights, and themed events like white night parties. It's not big budget spectacle, but it's consistent and enjoyable. MSC Entertainment is designed to work across multiple languages, so it relies less on spoken dialogue and more on music and movement. Once you understand that, it makes a lot of sense. For me, the itinerary is often the deciding factor when booking a cruise, and on this sailing, it was easily the strongest part of the experience. This was my first Northern Europe cruise, and it won't be my last. We had long days in Hamburg, Rotterdam, Zeebrugge, and Le Havre. These are excellent ports for independent exploring, with straightforward transport and clear options. In places like Zeebrugge, there are plenty of easy ways to get around independently, so you don't need to book a ship excursion unless you want to. Trains and shuttles make it simple to reach nearby cities like Bruges. Le Havre is slightly different. If you're planning to go all the way to Paris, a ship-organized shore excursion is often the safer option. It's a long day with tight timings, and booking through the ship gives you the reassurance that they'll wait if there are delays. That mix of easy DIY ports and longer, more structured days is part of what made this itinerary work so well. Service and atmosphere can make or break a cruise, and on MSC Poesia, the overall vibe on board was a big part of why this cruise worked as well as it did. And the atmosphere on board was one of the biggest positives. The ship felt relaxed, friendly, and very international. The mix of passengers and crew created a casual, easygoing vibe that suited this itinerary well. Service could be inconsistent, particularly at busy times. That's the reality of a lower-priced cruise line with high passenger numbers. What mattered more to me was attitude. Staff were friendly, approachable, and genuinely pleasant throughout. Multilingual announcements are part of life on MSC, and while you notice them at first, you quickly tune them out. Drinks packages and onboard spending are an important part of the value equation on MSC, so this is where things start to come together. I had the Easy Drinks package, which cost just over £200 for 7 nights. And for me, it was good value. It's a simple package, not a huge range, but enough. I actually liked that drinks were often served in cans rather than post-mix. If you want premium brands or lots of choice, it won't suit you. This is another area where MSC's pricing is very clear. You're paying less upfront, and you decide how much extra you want to add. This isn't the most exciting topic, but it's an important one, especially when you're cruising in winter and spending a lot of time indoors. There was norovirus on board towards the end of the cruise. What I did notice is that hand washing and sanitizer use wasn't enforced as firmly as I've seen on Princess or Royal Caribbean. MSC could definitely be stronger here. Once you put everything together, the real question is whether this cruise represents good value, and whether I'd choose MSC again. For the price I paid, this cruise was excellent value. MSC Poesia isn't a luxury ship. She isn't cutting edge, but she's comfortable, easy to live on, and paired with the right itinerary, she works very well. Would I cruise with MSC again? Yes, absolutely. At the right price, and particularly for itineraries like this. The key is understanding how MSC operates. Once you understand that it is different, the cruise becomes very enjoyable. So that's my honest review of MSC Poesia. And if you're now thinking MSC Poesia might work for you, the next thing you need to understand is what catches people out on this ship, and what you'll wish you'd known before you boarded. I've put together a full 10 things you need to know about MSC Poesia video, covering the practical details that make a big difference once you're on board. Click on screen now to watch that next.